What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trade, as usual. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. And as you can see, we got a special guest here. Everybody who comes on the show for the first time is introduced as a special guest. But when you see it back up here, we're going to introduce like everybody else because, she expects to come back up here. I expect her to come back up here. But everybody say, what's up, Janelle? Janelle, how's everything with you? How's everything with you?
Everything's good. Everything's fine. Just living life, working hard, normal stuff.
Okay. Okay. All right. And look, ladies and gentlemen, just to explain why she's on the show. She's working in the baseball field, and it's called Get a Bucket, right? But today we're gonna talk about a little baseball. You see my Boston Red Sox on here. That's not the organization that we're gonna be talking about, though. But before we get there, though, I gotta say, and then I'll let you do your honors for your job, but I was actually quite surprised that you went this route, baseball in specific. Like I just wasn't expecting that. It's
Were
not
you
a.
surprised?
I was a little surprised. But to be fair though, I was surprised in general on the baseball route. Like if you said, "Oh, I went major or minor leagues," I don't care. Like really, okay, what made you go there? It's interesting. You don't typically hear that in terms of the sports conversations. Like normally I'm gonna hear a basketball or football, like maybe someone might even try to say soccer nowadays, but like those are at least those two sports are the ones I hear. So when I saw baseball, I was like, that's pretty interesting. So my question to you is, and I guess this tailors into your sports journey, if you will. So how did you find your job? And again, I want you to go ahead and give you flowers to your Richmond team. Go ahead.
So so we both clearly went to George Mason, and in my degree field, we have to do two, more like two and a half, but two internships. So my last internship, I wanted to, be with a sports team. My major was in events management. I tried weddings. I thought weddings were boring. I didn't want to go into hotels. I didn't want to go into conferences. I was like, well, your minor is in sport management. Like, maybe you should try going into sports. And then I have to move back home, and the only sports teams in the area are the Richmond Kickers, which is soccer, or the Flying Squirrels, which is baseball. Everybody else is like a college team. The biggest college team would be like VCU, but it's kind of conflicting working for another college's like sports program. So I applied to the Squirrels and I got it. So um, that's how I started. And so I was an intern and I did a full season. I started in January and I came in with about six other interns, six or seven of us. And we all got hired full time. And we all still work here except for one. So that's
Shade, shade. Yeah.
no, they were amazing. They went to like a really good, like they had a great opportunity. I love that for them. So worked
Okay.
out well.
Okay. All right. All right. So you said they got a great opportunity, and it sounds like you were able to connect the dots between, school and professional realm, right? Which a lot of people can't do. So I commend you for that, right? So what's your dream job, if you will, in this field? Because again, it's baseball. So I haven't really done too much research as to what I would might want to do. So like help me
Right.
out with that. What's your dream job with the Flyers?
So a little while ago, like if you would I would have said, however I can play in the Super Bowl, whatever that looks like that was like the ideal. And I would still love to like do that, to like have that on my resume.
Right.
But I want to stay in baseball or either basketball or football, but I want to play in special events. So usually it's a team of people at our facility since we're smaller. We only have like one person who does it.
Mhm.
Um, but that person oversees all of the events that come through that aren't during a game day. So if you go to like a basketball or a football game, you have the games, of course, but when they're not there, somebody's using the facility, somebody's renting it, somebody's using the parking lot, somebody's doing something because it has to continue to make money throughout the entire year, just not when people are in town. That's what I want to do. Now, some places, depending on the sport, your charitable organization is like linked with that.
Right.
For like baseball and the team that I work with, they're together. I really love like charity work. I really, really enjoy it. I want to stay in that. But again, it kind of depends. Like the higher up you go, like if I were to work for like a major league team, they might be together, they might be separate. Depending on the sport, they might be together, they might be separate. But if I stay in minor league, that is the goal. I want to be the events person because that's what I majored in and that's what I love. And I love charity work, so it like works out.
Okay. Okay. Now Do you love the minor league? Would you
I
say?
do. I've only been in it for 2 seasons. I think it's great. I
All right.
like
So just to clarify, so if they do you a major league job, like, do you love it enough to say, nah, major MLB, I'm a stay tight, or you gonna take that job? Like, which one you going with?
I don't know. I think it depends on the opportunity. I think it depends if I can still do what I want to do and how much hands-on work that I can do. A lot of people that we work with who have like worked in the major leagues, they always like tell us their stories about how just different it is.
Mhm.
I think being in a smaller environment, it's more homegrown, it's more family. Like your season ticket holders, the people that are coming to your events, spending your money, like they live down the street, like it's all very local compared to a major league team. So it would kind of depend, but I am young. I'm not like married. I'm not tied down. So if this is the time for me to like go out and explore, but currently I do love what I do. I like the little small town vibe. Plus, we have 35 full-time staff members. I feel like that's a lot already. So I can imagine. I mean, I can't imagine going to like a bigger organization, but I think 35 is good.
I can understand that. I did go from like a smaller company to like a bigger company, and I guess that transition, it's a little interesting. It's a little interesting, but it's a fun time though. And like I will say, if there is a time to make these moves, it is in your 20s. That's what they say. That's what they say.
It's,
Make it seem,
and I agree. I
yeah.
do.
It'd be interesting if I can make it in nowadays, since I'm in my 30s. Like it feels a little weird. It feels a little awkward.
You're
Uh,
not, I didn't know 30s.
you said
In,
what?
in my head, you're not in your 30s. You're like late 20s. You're
I
like 20.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I try to think that way too, but like in reality, I gotta recognize, and nah, I'm in my 30s now. Like someone at my gym called me Unc. I get consistently called OG. Like yes, it's downhill from there.
Well, I get
Um,
the but the unk is like that's you're not that old. No way.
it threw me for a loop, but I also looked at it like, you know what? Maybe they look at me as like, I don't know, a mentor or something like that. I try to put a positive spin on it. I try to see how something shook. But look, that actually transitions nicely into the next discussion for this here episode, which is women in baseball. Because I don't know if y'all knew this or not. I didn't know this, but there's a disparity in baseball with women. Like, no, I'm playing. I'm being rhetorical. There's been a nice little disparity with
Yeah.
it all around sports when it comes to women. So like, understanding that, I also understand at the job, it's always great to have mentors, right? So,
Right.
one, are you able to get a mentor at your current job? And then two, how many of those, if it's multiple, are actually women?
I feel like everyone's my mentor. That sounds great. But probably the people that are most that I would say like have mentors are women. Granted, when I came into the position, my two bosses were women. So that's just kind of how it started. Now coming into this like second season, I do have like a boss that's a man, but I still consider him a mentor as well. Both of them have been in sports for a really long time. One of them, Caroline. Hi, Caroline. She's been at the Squirrel. She started in like a game day position, so like our part time um, like cashiers and all that fun stuff. Granted, she did a different position, but started as like a game tape part time and then worked her way up. And now she runs her own department. She's ran her own department for years and is absolutely amazing at it. And then I have my other boss, Bailey. Hi, Bailey. And she has worked for a few different teams. So her perspective on things is kind of nice because she hasn't just worked for the Squirrels. And the big difference between them is like Caroline grew up here. She went to school here. She went to college here. So she is a lot more like homegrown compared to Bailey, who grew up completely in another state and like has moved around and been to um, worked for different teams, which is really nice. So they always teach me different things, which is amazing. And then my other mentor would probably be Hannah. Hello, Hannah. She does what I want to do. So I learn a lot more from her because she does plan our outside events and our charity work. So it's nice to kind of be close with that person and actually be able to learn with them. But they're all amazing. I would say I have a few other mentors, but those three are probably the ones that I feel like I've learned the most from in my 2 years here.
Okay. All right. That's the big three, a solid big three. And it's interesting too, because like you said, you get a homegrown person, you get someone from out of state, and you get someone who does what you want to do, and you can
Right.
learn a lot from them. Like ironically, I feel like that's how sports is. Like let's say you just get out drafted, I guess, to the minor league team. You got players who are already on that squad, and you got people who might be from Richmond, someone who's visiting, and then someone who, hey, you like how they move. Like you can always learn from those people. But let me ask you this: do you think they learn from you? And if so, what's the biggest thing they learn from you?
Probably optimism. I think it can be overbearing sometimes because
I
I
get it.
think like one I think we have a few people in our office, but I think I'm one of the few in the office that's overly optimistic, sometimes to the point where people may think it's not realistic enough. But I think that helps calm people down a little bit and just kind of seeing the light before you get to the tunnel. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna work out, but it's gonna work out. And they're like, I don't think so. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna just figure it out. Do you know what I mean? I would probably say that. Although all the two of the three are pretty like positive and optimistic, but they're also realists too. But I would say that's probably what they take the most from me is like that.
Okay, okay. I can attest. You're pretty optimistic and like energetic and like just you like the way you're introducing your people. Like if I'm like if I'm talking about someone, I'm like, oh, I might give them a little shout out. Like, but you're like, oh, hey baby, how you doing? I'm like, all right, cool, all right. Like that's you genuinely. Okay, so I appreciate it, and I can also rock with the optimism too. Some of my takes are a little bit optimistic, like like some players, like for example, Damian Lillard. You might not know this, but I want him to stay with the Blazers. And a lot of people are like, nah, they want him to leave. I want him to leave too to win the championship. But I like for him to stay too to win a championship with the team that drafted him. It'd be kind of nice. But people have looked at me and said, nah, Trey, you're a little stupid on this one, champ. Like your braids is tied a little too tight. I'm like, that's tough. That's tough. Shout out Shonda though on the braids. But
And then
gotta get your plugs in. Gotta get your plugs in.
you.
Oh man. But look, so we are talking about the mentors, right? We're talking about women in baseball. So is there like would you say there's a large disparity in baseball for women? Like what how or what's the gap if you had to say a percentage, if you will, if you know that off the top of your head?
I actually don't. I think I just know based on what the other women have told me. So we have a full-time staff, like year round. A lot of people don't think that minor league stadiums stay open all year, but they do.
Mhm.
We have about 35 full-time staff members. I think of that 35, I think we only have 6 or 7 women. Um, which is awesome, but not enough because you're surrounded by men a lot. And then everyone on the team, they're men, and the coaches are men. And, so you're just surrounded by a lot of guys, which is fine. But there's just not that many of us. And so I know one of my bosses, well, they're my friends too. I should stop calling them bosses. They're amazing women. Caroline had went to an event, and I don't want to say the wrong thing, so I'm just going to say an event.
Right.
They had they got these really pretty, it was something they had received that was like really pretty, and she was talking about how the men were complaining about why they didn't get this nice thing, and she was like, well, look at all the women that are here representing all of these organizations compared to all of the men that are here. And we'll talk about it all the time. Sam, our social media coordinator, we were talking the other day about how there is another social media person who's also a woman in the industry, and how there aren't that many that are on the social side as well. So it's not that many of us, definitely. So
Okay. Okay. So I mean MLB, we're not gonna officially say y'all not doing your job because we ain't looked in the stats. But
yeah,
it looked like you could give a little uptick on
right.
hiring. That's all I'm saying. And while we also on this here subject, minorities, I guess too. Like, what's the minority disparity? Is it because again, like I don't want to make it. I'm not trying to make it sound like we're pointing fingers and blaming
No, I'm trying to count.
baseball. Like this is all across the board and everywhere. But you don't think about this. All like again, like you said, you might not know. Hey, minor league baseball goes from April to September. Like at least that's
Yeah,
what I saw when I looked it up. So I was
yeah.
like, interesting. Like that's who knew. So like the minority disparity is it the same thing or similar thing with the women from your vantage point or from what you've heard?
Worse. When I was an intern, I think there were like 5 of us. I think I was an intern, and then we had 2 other like trainees. It's a program that we have with Virginia State University
Mhm.
and Virginia Union, or it might just be Virginia State University. And so there were three like interns essentially that were Black for the season, and then we had three when I started. We had three others that were like full time, and now we have three. There's three full time, and then there's two interns essentially.
Mm.
So there's, I would say there's not a lot of us. I would say that we stick together, which is really nice and really comfortable with them. I thought coming in that was really like relaxing because I feel like when you go into a space, you just, granted for me it's a little easier because I grew up in a very white area, so I feel comfortable in a lot of spaces. But if there are Black people there, I always kind of look to them to kind of, figure out how things really work and what really goes on, because that's just how things are. So I would say we all work really well together, and that is very comforting. But there's not a lot of us really at all. And then in our office specifically, like I don't think we have any other minorities. Like you're either white or Black. But then again, it does go into like, are we just not hiring certain people, or who is actually applying for these jobs? Do you know what I mean? So it does also go into that as well, because people are usually surprised of like, oh, I'm surprised you're working in baseball, because growing up you didn't play softball, that wasn't your sport of choice, you don't know a lot about baseball. People will come and talk to me and I'm like, I don't know who that baseball player is. So you're also looking at like a lot of the people we do hire like have a history in the sport, they love the sport, and that could just look very white, or it could just not look very white. And so it could be all types of things, but not that many of us, but enough, I guess. I don't know. Very comfortable office, if that helps. But
Okay. Okay. I mean, like I said, we're not out here trying to necessarily throw stones at people. We understand, at with times, right? Like we don't understand the whole. I don't know their hiring process. Like I don't know how many people applying.
yeah,
So like I didn't throw my application in. So like I'm assuming maybe like somebody, like who knows? But it
yeah,
is nice to see other people who look like you. Like I know when I've been in my former jobs, I'm not trying to say I'm targeting Black folk, but if I see one walking, I'm gonna give you a quick head nod, and then around lunch, we might, you know what I'm saying? Like we might go out to eat. Like, all right, cool, it's cool. Like
exactly.
yeah, so I get you on that. I definitely get you on that.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to slander you know, minor league baseball, or I guess should we say baseball in general, because I'm assuming it's similar with minor and major leagues. But since we're talking about minor leagues, it's kind of shed some light on them real quick. Give me your elevator pitch on why I should go, or anybody should go to a minor league game. Again, I got my Boston Red Sox jersey on. We major leagues around here. So I mean, give me the pitch, give me your sales pitch. Why should we go to the minor leagues and go watch them play?
Well, we are the affiliates of the San Francisco Giants. We're freaking amazing. I would say something that a big reason that we stand apart is because every single game we have a completely different theme, and they're sometimes very random. So most stadiums have a military appreciation day. They might have something dealing with like cancer awareness or different things like that. You might have something for teachers. Like you have those standard like nights and themes that everybody does, but then we do themes that are also kind of fun and different. And we also have ones that are impactful, which I think really helps being so local. So this year we had a hockey night because someone really likes hockey in our office and they want to do a hockey night. And it was amazing. It was awesome. We had all these people come out and they were like, "What's going on?" I said, "It's a hockey night." They were like, "It's summer." I said, "It is summer." And we're celebrating. And it was awesome. But then we have more impactful programming like our Richmond 34 weekend, which is actually coming up in a week, where we celebrate 34 amazing people who were just really ahead of their time in Richmond. And they took a stand and they made a huge impact with Tallheimers. I'm sure you know, and folks know about Tallheimers and how just amazing and huge and powerful they were back in the day. And they had a peaceful sit in, and it was absolutely amazing. So we do a program every year to celebrate them. With that, we have the scholarship that goes to either a Virginia State or a Virginia Union student, since those are the two HBCUs closest to like Richmond. And I don't want to tell you the amount because I could tell you the wrong amount, but it's a scholarship that goes to them. And we actually just celebrated them this past homestand. We're in like a double homestand, so we're doing 12 games in 14 days. I think it's something like that. But it's really awesome. So things like that are very local to Richmond and our history, because we do have a very rich history, especially very rich Black African American history in Richmond. So to be able to be in what most may consider a white space, but not really, what's the right wording? Doing what feels right, I guess, if that makes
More
sense.
natural. Okay. Okay. I got you. I got you. That sounds actually kind of interesting. I like that whole charity vibe that you it sounds like you guys are doing. Sounds like a good cause. I can always get behind that. Um in terms of the entertainment perspective.
Oh yeah, the fun
Like
stuff.
yeah, I was about to say how entertaining are y'all? Because I mean nobody like to see teams lose. So I mean like
We're
yeah,
very
Roger, how we doing? How we looking? How we looking?
yeah, we always have between inning contests, we always have something going on, and almost all of them are sponsored, which I think also brings a different element to it. So we have knocker ball, that's a really fun one. Those big like inflatable balls that you can push someone and fall back. People love that. We have dad aerobics, which is really interesting. If you've ever seen ribbon dancing, we get two men that may or may not look like dads, and they do ribbon dancing on the field to like opera music. The people really love that. The women really love that because it's something that kind of gets them out of their comfort zone, and it's really entertaining. We have a ton of things for kids. Sundays are always for our kids, and those are the days that we usually give. We have a ton of giveaways, and usually on Sundays they're geared towards a kid. So whether it's a jersey or a T-shirt, or we have a train bobblehead coming up, we're really big on at the stadium. Absolutely love them. But we always have something going on, and we just pick random people the day of the game. We just say, "Hey, do you want to do this contest?" And they're like, "Heck yeah!" Just like if you were to go to a basketball game and they
Right.
bring support, and that just helps kind of keep things interesting. My boss always says that we are in the oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm blanking on what it is. You're gonna have to cut this out until I figure out what it is. When I think of it, I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this then, so you can think about it real quick. If there was one thing that you can do, like one program that you could run with the Flyers, what would it be? And you head honcho out there, that's your baby, that's your program. What would it be? What would it look like?
In terms of anything or just like a game?
Anything you want to do. Like creativity is all yours right now. I know. You may need to take a second. You may need to take a second.
Um, it would probably be something on the charity side.
Okay.
In terms of theme nights, I will say my boss, the one that oversees all of that, if you go to her and say, "Hey, I want to have a basketball night," which I think we have, then you could say anything. She'll say, "Are you interested in planning it?" And you'll say, "Heck yeah," and we'll do it. So that I think is easier. I know one of my coworkers, Casey, wanted to do, and a few people had talked about it, but it never was put like the wheels didn't turn, I guess. And she wanted to do an HBCU night. And Caroline was like, "Do you want to help plan it?" And she said, "Heck yeah." And we had our first HBCU night last season, or this season, last season. And it was amazing. It was this year. It was awesome. So things like that are really easy. If I were to do something, it would probably be on the charitable side. I will say I love all of the events that we have currently, like under our charity. So I wouldn't necessarily create a new event per se. I think I would just start getting into the process of giving back more financially. Um, so giving higher grants to people like $5,000, $10,000 to these local charities that have been around for ages that are really doing like the grassroots work within their communities. I think that's what I would try to um, put my efforts toward.
Okay. I mean, hey, that sounds really dope though. Like it sounds consistent too with how you appear to be because you're very bubbly, you're very cheerful. I feel like people who are like that, they have a lot of extra energy to give. Like,
Yeah.
and that's what they typically do. They try to give their energy, their time. So I can see you doing it. And especially it seems I'm not gonna say easy because you got to schedule it, plan it, all that stuff, do due diligence. But in terms of actually getting it done, like it sounds like you just bring it up to your boss and they'll run with it as long as it makes sense. So I mean,
I will say this, working at this team, I mean, you could really bring anything to them and they're like, "If you want to work through this, like this is great. Like we'll find you support." Like I think that's really I think from day one as an intern, I felt comfortable even going to like higher ups with things. And I think as an intern that's really hard, or someone who's just new in an organization, to feel like you can literally talk to anybody in your staff and feel comfortable. Even my CEO, because our CEO is housed in our staff as well. So he's there working day in and day out like us. And to be that comfortable to sit down with them, it's like, I feel like you don't get that everywhere. So it
Yeah,
was,
no, you don't. And the fact that your CEO is right there, that's a great networking tool
yeah,
too. Just walk
awesome.
across, just casually cross them. Hey, Bob, how's everything? Like the hair, like just
Hi, Barney. How's it
or
going?
Barney. I'm sorry. Hey, Barney, how's it going? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's always nice. So I ain't gonna lie, it's an interesting situation you're in. Like, and it sounds like you love it too, or at least like it a lot. So I mean, I don't want to put too much. I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I'll say like it a lot. But
No,
that's you said what?
I love it. It's awesome.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I've officially become jealous, like not everyone loves the job that they're doing. My job, in case my manager sees this, I don't love it. It just pays the bills. But we've talked about it though, so I think you already know that. But no,
Yeah.
I'm very happy for you. You might have actually sold me a little bit on going to the Flyers game. If I'm in Richmond, I'm gonna hit you up, see what the games is looking like. Again, from August, I'm sorry, from April to September. That's the time frame. So it looks
Yes,
like y'all might be
doing that. So it's a ton.
okay. And then I didn't look this up. When is playoffs still in September as well, or is it afterwards? I thought.
Yeah. They start in September as
Okay.
well, late September. So we'll be done by October. Even if we win playoffs, we'll still be done by October. It just like extends our time a little bit. So, but in a good way, it's awesome. We want to make playoffs. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, are y'all looking like y'all might be able to win the championship this year? Are we gonna have a Flyers little parade in Richmond? Like, what's up?
Girls Parade, yeah. I hope so. I mean, we made it to the playoffs last year, which was amazing. And we're looking like we'll make it to the playoffs this year as well. But in our head, we only have 12 games left. But the guys, they have still like 30 or so games. So in my head, I'm like, oh, we only have 12 because we only have 12 like at home, but they still have like a good amount of games to go through. So anything can happen. But I feel good. I feel confident in our team. I feel confident in the coaches. So just gotta keep winning.
All right. Well, I mean, hey, if I'm not able to make it out this year, I'll try to make sure I get out there next year. But if
Yeah,
y'all win a championship, I'll slide out to the parade. I'll gladly do that.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know when this episode is particularly going to drop, but if it drops before that, cool. If not, we'll just have to revisit it later on and just address what happened. But no, I mean, you might have gained like I don't want to say a fan, so like a possible, I guess. Like we'll see how it shakes. We'll see how we play in spades right now. We'll see how it shakes.
You're not a fan.
You said what?
I haven't convinced you enough if you're not a fan
Well,
yet.
I mean, so I got it. When I say a fan, I think of a fan should be like someone who wants to watch this sport without anyone else's. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and respect, you're not playing the sport. So I can't be like, hey, I see you all the
Right?
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I can't, it's not supporting. If I see you in the stands, like, you want to text me, like, yo, they gave me the camera angle schedule. They gonna hit me around 9:30, 9:47. Yeah, I mean, like, all right, cool, I'll watch then. But like, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to work my way up to fandom. I ain't gonna lie to y'all now. I ain't gonna lie to
Right.
y'all. But you piqued the curiosity a little bit. So that's more than what a lot of people have done. So you've done a lot better than what a lot of people on ESPN have done.
Oh,
Kudos. Kudos. But no, I greatly appreciate this conversation. It was actually fun too. And the whole time, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was trying to keep this between 10 to 15 minutes. So one, I apologize
no,
because
it's
it definitely went longer than that. But it was a good conversation. I hope you had fun, and I hope you want to come back on the show and
okay.
chop it up a little bit more. So, because next time, if you do, we're gonna have some baseball trivia. Because normally I try to have a little Gab trivia. It's nothing though that's gonna be too aggressive. Because I'm gonna say on the record right now, I probably failed it myself. Like if you
Okay.
talked about my Red Sox, who's on that team right now?
You would know. I
You
have
know,
to bring my coworkers because they know all the, I'll bring one of our broadcasters. They'll know everything.
oh, easy. Oh yeah, look, if you anybody on the show, all the three bosses you brought, you highlighted, you low key have to bring them on now. We gotta give them some highs, some how do's and whatnot. So, but now,
Awesome.
did you want to say anything before we close up shop?
I would just say do what makes you happy. If you're not happy, go where you're happy. Try to enjoy your job. You have to be there. You have to work. You have to make ends meet. So if you have to be there so much, you should at least try to enjoy what you do. And I would just say make space if you're a woman or if you're a Black woman in any sport or any industry. And I would also say take up space because it's great to be there, but you have to use your voice. You have to open doors for others. You have to make an impact. And so use that as a woman or and or Black woman. So yeah.
No, that's real. I appreciate that. That might be one of the better endings that folks
Oh,
usually
good.
like. Nah, yeah, normally folks be like, nah, I appreciate the
Got
time.
on that.
Thanks for having me on, all this stuff. I'm like, that's so generic. I appreciate it though so much. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but like I appreciate that. It's very positive, very uplifting. So I always, yeah, you definitely got to come back on because like I can use that as like a motivational quote too at some point. I used to do those back in the day, clip them up and whatnot. So if you on the page, that's the reason why that you did it to yourself. You did it to yourself.
What you do, you're a great host. Awesome.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all that's all the time we have. So you will see her again on another episode. We'll probably have some guests. We'll see how they schedule shake out. But hopefully you all enjoyed this. And I'm really happy because my baseball content is about to be going up a little bit. So I was really looking at this like, yo, baseball and soccer might have like 4 to 6 videos each.
Yeah.
This is tough. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But please like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. Oh my goodness. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. Hope you all have a good one. Take care. Oh, I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I got to go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here, too.